I'm attorney Tim Semelroth with RSH Legal. A collision with an 18-wheeler is much different than a collision with a regular passenger car. One of the biggest differences, no pun intended, is the sheer size of the tractor-trailer. A fully loaded semi-truck can weigh up to 20 times more than a compact car. Getting hit by something with that kind of mass creates a huge amount of force. The human brain can be particularly vulnerable to that kind of trauma. Unfortunately, the damage caused to the brain by a collision with an 18-wheeler is not always immediately apparent. Medical specialists will tell you that a traumatic brain injury does not necessarily require a loss of consciousness. A traumatic brain injury does not always show up on an MRI or a CT scan. The effects of a traumatic brain injury can be subtle at first and are often missed by emergency medical personnel who are more likely focused on broken bones and internal bleeding. That is why anyone who is involved in a truck crash must be on the lookout for symptoms of a traumatic brain injury. Those symptoms include headaches, dizziness, personality changes including confusion, aggression, or irritability, sensitivity to light or sound, sleeping more or less than usual, trouble concentrating, and nausea or vomiting. If you or a loved one has experienced any of those classic brain injury symptoms after a crash, the most important thing to do is immediately report them to a doctor. Most patients will not receive a full brain injury workup, including referrals to specialists, if they do not report their symptoms to a medical provider. Because of the subtlety of traumatic brain injury symptoms, trucking companies often refuse to accept full responsibility for brain injuries that were not immediately diagnosed after the crash. That is why it is important to speak to an experienced Iowa truck accident attorney if you or someone you love experiences classic brain injury symptoms after a crash. A good lawyer should be able to explain the steps necessary to get fair compensation for harms and losses like past and future medical bills, lost wages if you had to take time off of work for medical treatment or healing, loss of future earnings if you're not able to return to the job that you did before the crash because of your brain injury, loss of normal function of the mind and/or the body, and physical or mental pain and suffering. It's important to speak with an experienced Iowa semi-truck attorney after suffering a brain injury from a wreck with an 18-wheeler. Truck crashes are different from regular car accidents, and you need an attorney who can fight for fairness for you. If you would like a free, no-obligation case evaluation for your Iowa truck accident claim, call RSH Legal today at 1-800-433-0283.